Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. If you've not subscribed to my channel, I highly recommend that you subscribe. But if you've already subscribed to my channel, I just want to say thank you for subscribing and thank you for watching my videos. So today I'm going to be taking you around my neighborhood. So I'll be going around and I'm going to be talking about the reasons why I feel like a lot of people who want the green card from Kenya will not get the visa. So it's going to be a few things that I'm going to be covering, but I'm not going to go into detail, but I'm just going to be sharing. Look at that house there. It's really beautiful. Look at it. Look at that. Yeah, so those are the reasons why, people who want the green card, because winning a green card is just the first step. Getting a visa is the beast. So we'll be covering why people might be denied visas, the requirements that you need, and also we'll be talking about other things in regards to getting the visa. I was talking to my neighbor right there. You see how beautiful her house is? Right there she is. She has a very good garden, so I usually copy the flowers and then I plant them. I steal some, but so I'll be talking about the reasons why Kenyans cannot get a visa very easily after winning the DV lottery. Like with Ghana and these other countries, I think it's a little bit more easier than Kenya, especially this year. With the green card lottery, you will realize last year they didn't need a passport. So everybody was applying for the green card. Literally somebody will see it on Facebook and then apply for it. But then they didn't check the requirements, they didn't check what they need, they didn't prepare financially. So a lot of the people who won the green card lottery will not get a visa just because they didn't have the right requirements. And one of the reasons is the affidavit of support. People don't realize how important this document is. I had affidavit of support. I was doing that on my website, but you know what? A lot of people applied for it. So right now we do not have people. We don't have enough sponsors. So if you're out there and you're a sponsor in the US, please, you can sign up to help somebody. And usually we pay people for it. We compensate people for it. I'm gonna show you apartments. These are apartments. But they're pretty expensive. They're pretty up there. But if you wanna, move into an apartment in a high-end location, then that's an example of an apartment. A lot of people who won the green card lottery will not get a visa just because they do not have the affidavit of support, which is very important. And if you have not watched my video about the affidavit of support, go ahead and click on that video and just see what the affidavit of support is. Because if you don't have that document, my friend, you will not get a visa, especially if you're from Kenya. So, number one reason why somebody will not get a visa, especially from Kenya, most important, affidavit of support. Number two is DS-260. I don't know why people are in a rush to complete this form. Literally, rather wait and complete it correctly than complete a form and then do it wrong. I had somebody reach out to me. They say they applied as single, but then when they completed the DS-260, they added their children there and then they submitted the form. So, but in other words, in a nice way, I'm going to tell you that you will not be issued the visa. Why? Because you lied on your application. If you did not include your kids in your application, do not include them in your DS-260. Like I said, I have somebody who already submitted and then they added their children. And there's another one who added a wife and children, but then they were not added previously in the application. So you know what that means. They will not get a visa. So that's another reason why, you complete your DS-260 in a rush. And then, I'm sorry if I'm breathing too hard. I've been walking a lot. I've covered a couple of miles. So if I host you, I'll be showing you the place you guys will be staying, but for right now, I'll just keep it a secret, and then I'm gonna show you just in the next month or so. I'll show you where I'll be hosting you guys. If you complete your DS-260 and then you don't complete it correctly, then you will be denied a visa. And then another thing that I wanted to mention, sorry, I'm breathing so hard, I'm going up the hill, so dude, yeah, that's how we know we're physically unfit. So another thing that I wanted to mention is the address you put on the DS260. Not people that I'll be hosting, especially the ones that were already did like a Zoom meeting with them. Most of them, like, you know what, like I already provided an address to use in your DS260. So this is the thing, like if I give you my address to use, usually I state clearly in the message or the email address that this address should not be shared. And I'm gonna tell you why. So because, like, you know, I help a lot of people, and I know people are bound to misuse it. You know, somebody will be like, you know what, I'm just gonna get the address and then I'm gonna share with everybody, and then they will complete the DS260. Dude, don't even try. And why is that? Because once I complete pairing hosts and all that, I will send a list to the embassy of the people who I'm allowing to use my address. I'm gonna send a list. I'm gonna send like a name and your confirmation number and your case number and all that to the embassy to notify them that you have permission to use my address. So for example, like if somebody shared my address, you don't have consent to use it. So once I share that information with the embassy, I'm gonna file a case of people misusing my address. So here is where the problem is. When you complete your DS260 using the address that you don't have consent, and you show up with the embassy, they will ask you, you use this address, it's been flagged as being used without consent. Did you get consent? And because you don't have an email from me, you don't have a message from me, it shows that you're using that address illegally. And that's a fraud crime. Using somebody's address without consent, that is a crime in the US. So if you're trying to get a visa to come to America and you're already committing a crime before you go to the embassy, do you think they'll give you a visa? You're already a thief, you're stealing an address before you go to the embassy. So just don't risk it. Like, you know what, if you need an address, even if you know them and they give you an address, don't share their address before they give you consent, because if you share this address, you might land in a bad place. Because now, like if I file like somebody's misusing my address, so everybody who shows up at the embassy with that address, you have to show that you have consent to use it. Otherwise you might not get a visa issued, because first you're using a stolen address on your DS260. So like Kenyans, like I'm just saying, like people, don't try to cut corners. Don't try like if you have somebody on Facebook, they're like, oh, give me money, I'll give you an address to use, a US address, I know this person. Make sure you're talking to the person who that address belongs to, so they can give you consent before you even pay, because you might end up not getting a visa because you're using somebody's address illegally. So you have to put that into account. As much as you're desperate for an address, you'd rather pay to get an address than use an address that has been flagged by the owner being used without consent. I don't know if you understand what that means. So just make sure, like, dude, if I give you an address and you share it at your own risk. Like, I like to help people, but if you misuse it, like, you're gonna end up like, I don't like people who try to cut corners. If you need an address, reach out to me directly. But if you use my address without my consent, try going to the embassy with that address. Because usually I give you an address that I know is for an organization. I give you an address that I know if they go to the embassy, they know this address and what it does. So if you use it without consent, it's gonna be an issue for you. I'll just show you my neighborhood while I talk about affidavit of support. So a lot of people, like I said, from Kenya will not get the green card visa issued because they don't have affidavit of support. So if you're from Kenya, maybe you need, before even start thinking of completing the DS260, you should be thinking about the affidavit of support. So like I said, in America, people are very lonely. Like you can see, this is my neighborhood. I'm just walking around. There's literally nobody outside. So like I just met my neighbor in the beginning of the video who was planting flowers, but other than that, my friend, there is nobody outside. So like I said, with the affidavit of support, you need that. Affidavit of support pretty much shows that when you come here, you're not going to depend on the government. Either you'll have somebody to support you, or you will work hard and not have to depend on the government, because people who depended on the government are the ones who actually landed us in these situations as Kenyans. So people who use the government stuff, then look at that, how beautiful that house is. I like the garden. Look at the manicured lawns and stuff. So affidavit of support, you need that. If you don't have that, you will not get your visa issued. If you win the green card lottery and you do not have a place to stay, you don't know anybody in the United States, you can go to nafulaconnect.com, which is nafulaconnect.com, click on the guest and host pairing, and then when you click on that, it will bring you to this page here, and here we can help you find a host. If you need to request for hosting, you just go down here. It says Dvlottery winner sign up. So you're just going to sign your name, your date of birth, your country, and then confirmation number and all this information. If you do not provide all this information, we will not pay you. So you have to provide all this information. Also, if you're in America and you're interested in hosting somebody, maybe you want to help people out, you can also sign up to be a host on our website, and then you can provide your information here. If you need single or you can accommodate a family, you just let us know. And then also, like, if we pair you with a host, you have to pay the $50 so that we make sure like everybody who applies really need the hosting. We don't want just anybody who has hosting and then they just apply just to see. So if we pair you with a host here, you have to pay the $50 to keep the spot. Otherwise, it will go to somebody else. So if you want to contact us, you can go to nafulaconnect.com, and then you're going to click on the about stroke contact, and then it's going to bring you down here to this page, and it shows you how to contact us. So the best way is to send an email to nafulaconnect@gmail.com. Also, another alternative is just put your last name, first name, your email address, phone number, and the message, and it will still go to nafulaconnect@gmail.com. If you want to contact us on social media, this is our YouTube, this is our Facebook, this is our Instagram, and this is our Twitter. We don't use Twitter as much, but then you can leave a message on our YouTube videos, or you can just click on this link. If you click on one of these, like if I click on my YouTube, it's just gonna go straight to my YouTube. So that's how to contact us. So send us a message if you have any questions in regards to hosting NAFULA Academy. You can send us a message.